What's up friends, Durosai here. Hope you guys are staying creative. In this video, I'll be showing you how I make organic minimal house drums. And by organic, I really just mean like acoustic sounding drums. So I'll be showing you how I sequence and program them and group them into drum racks and just my overall process. So before I get into it, you know the deal. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out some of my releases. I have a label called Groove Estate Records that I started with a couple friends. So we got releases coming out every month. We have one coming out September 25th, this Friday, by Quentin McKee. It's a techno EP. I also have an Instagram where I post exclusive jam videos, so go check me out on there. And yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, so this is a track that I'm currently working on. Let me just play a couple different sections so you get an idea of the drums. Alright, so you get the idea. It's just kind of like a very light grooving track. It's not like a super hard banger. So a lot of the stuff that I did in here was trying to use real percussion sounds, so live drum sounds. And the way I have this organized is so I have every drum kit as a drum rack. So if we kind of break this down, I'll just start from the top. So I have a hat section here, all these yellow percussion tracks, and this is the only thing that I didn't group into a drum rack for some reason. I don't know, I don't do hats like that. That's just how I am. So alright, so we'll start with these operator hats. All I'm doing here is I'm just making hats using white noise. So you got this noise white there, just this sort of envelope kind of quickly decaying down. And then same with this envelope. This is, you know, decreasing from a high frequency to a low frequency, the cutoff filter. And I'm just panning and echoing that, just taking out the lows, and then putting that through a reverb. So that's how it's just getting this sort of, just kind of like, what do you call it? Ambient percussion. And we got some more hats. So this I got from my Digitech. So these are pretty basic. I mean, they're kind of self-explanatory. Just some upbeat hi-hats. So one of the things here is I'm using, you know, like I said, I'm using real percussion sounds. At least I'm trying to find some. And I'm trying to find ones that are just kind of light and small, if that makes sense. I don't want anything that's like very overbearing. So that's also why they're gain staged really quietly. And I just have a lot of hats working together to give it like a bigger sound, rather than just one big like 909 just crashing in, you know. So, you know, this is my open hi-hat. You know, I'm easing up on the attack for a lot of these drums, so I don't have to, it's not such a sharp transient. Got some, just a real like open cymbal. And then, so here's where it starts with the drum bus grouping, or the drum rack grouping. So I have these shakers. They're just pretty like, light minimal shakers. I think I can't remember, I think I got these from Splice or Loop Cloud. But so I have them. So the reason I group these into a rack is just so I can see how they're interacting with one another. So I'm thinking of these as like one drum kit, or I guess like in this case a guy with 5 arms playing some shakers, like 5 different shakers. So I want to emulate, sort of at least get close to a real sounding like instrument, like someone playing. So that's why I want to see how all these notes interact. And you know, you also want to modulate the velocities for every note. So I usually just do this by hand, and it's, you know, it's a painstaking process. You really just have to like kind of play around with it, see, just do by ear, see what sounds good. And yeah, so just kind of just giving that little groove. And then another thing that's giving it groove is I have the whole shaker drum rack going through a grain delay. So I can see everything is delayed. So that's just giving it, you know, some space. And I have that as like a send and return. So I also have this reverb. And then we have kickstart. So kickstart's just doing some side chaining. This is giving that like pumping effect. Also letting the kick breathe through. So yeah, that's for the shakers. Then we got some rims. Right, so these rims are on the downbeat, and all I'm doing here is I'm just layering 2 together. So if we hear this, I have just a 707 rim. And then we have this, which I got from an Ableton drum kit, I believe, carbonized. And so I'm just combining that. So you get like a bigger, nice, fuller sounding rim shot. And that's just going on the downbeat. I don't know, the rim shots just sound nice because they're kind of woody. You know, like a nice wood block rim always is a nice drum for like these organic sounds. This one's from my ER1, my electribe that I've made a bunch of videos about. Just a little FM perk. Little background stuff. Then we got some weird percussion. That's what I call this. So I have this also grouped. And this is just some like random. I just grouped this together because it's just kind of random percussion. Now we got claps. So here I'm actually layering 3 things together to make my clap. So first layer is this. Just kind of this delayed, short staccato clap that I got from my electribe. Then we have kind of the same thing, just a little bit different pitch. It's a little higher pitch, sounds more like a hat. And then we have the snare. So together, these 2 things give it that transient, that like, you know, that initial snap. And the delay on them kind of makes it sound cool too, which I like. Alright, now for the real acoustic drums. So I have this conga drum rack. So I actually just took these are just, you know, in Ableton. You know, I think, I don't know if you have to have Suite to get them for free, but I know they're just Ableton stock Latin percussion drums. So I just chose my favorite congas and tumbas. Actually got a bongo in here too. And just made this pattern. So again, same concept here. I grouped all of these into a drum rack to see, you know, see how the notes or how they're interacting with each other. Because again, you want to make it realistic, like someone actually playing these. Though honestly, like on its own, this pattern doesn't really sound like anything anyone would actually play, but it goes with everything else. So one thing you do want to make sure is you have everything panned nicely, so you have a nice stereo spread, and also just makes sense because like a lot of these drums, like a conga or a bongo, you know, you might have like two, like a left right, you know, usually. So that kind of is nice when you have that left right in the speakers. Then we got some more congas. Actually, that's not even a conga. That's just like, I guess what the sample's called. I guess this is more like a rim shot. Definitely not a conga. So this is a ganjira. This is actually an Indian instrument. It's like a tambourine, South Indian tambourine. You can think of it like that. And I had one laying around, so I played this. Just kind of like, it sounds like just very tribal-y drums. So I just have some reverb, taking out some of the low end, boosting up some of these like mid-range frequencies. There's a lot of like low mids in here, so I'm doing a little cut here, and then I'm also compressing that transient, especially for this loud hit right there. Next we got a snare group. So again, here I picked some live drum sounds, actual drum sounds. And these are all from the same kit. As you can see, it says like Lud, which is I think Ludwig. So it's like Ludwig rim, flam, snare, another rim, and then acoustic snare. I don't know if that's the same kit, but it does sound like it. And all these are going through pretty big reverb. Valhalla, large wood room. Got the gain on the send pretty high. -9 is, I would consider that pretty high. So have it playing this. So here, you know, I really wanted to emphasize this note. So that's why it's, you know, I have the velocity set to max on that. You know, the velocities are very, very important for realistic drum programming, as well as actually moving the notes so they're not exactly on the grid. So like here, see, it's not exactly on the 6.4.2. This one is on the grid, and then this one is not. So, you know, it just gives more humanism to the drums, a more realistic element. So yeah, those are the snares. Then we got some toms. This comes from my Digitect. Pretty standard tom, sounds like 80s toms. Then we got this darbuka, which is also coming from my Digitect. This is just, I just wanted more, just what do you call it, unique sounding drums, more ethnic drums. There we go. It's 2 hits that, and then I really like this sound. This drum sounds really nice, very open. So yeah, that's it for the drums. Or actually, no, we have the kick. That's the last thing. So again, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I wanted this to be kind of subdued and not like a in-your-face club banger. So the kick had to reflect that as well. So here, I just wanted a soft kick that didn't have too much of a transient to it. So what I'm using is just an 808, simple 808 kick. And then I'm increasing the attack to 7 milliseconds. So this is what it sounds like default with 0. It's a lot more just punchy in your face, which, I mean, it's all up to your style. So if that's what you're going for, then, you know, do your thing, right? But this is just what I wanted for this track, was it to just be a very light kick. I think it just fits a little bit better with all the other sort of light percussion that's in this track. And then, I'm just doing my standard low mid cut. Usually between 200 and 400, there's a little bit of mud, so this usually cleans it up. Then I got that going into our comp, just doing some light compression, not taking out too much of the transient. I mean, it's already a very short kick and it doesn't have too much of a punch to it, so I'm not trying to like compress it. Part of the thing with these sort of genres is that you don't want to over compress it too much, or else it's going to sound very commercial, and you want it just to be very open and have a lot of dynamic range. So it's another reason why these tracks also do sound really good on a club system, is because they have that dynamic range. So the subs can really effortlessly reproduce those kicks and the bass, and same with the tops. The tops can easily reproduce the snares and the hi-hats and keep the transient characteristics. So yeah, minimal music really shines on a big system. So yeah, I mean, that's the drums for this track. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was hopefully kind of helpful. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Check out some of my tracks, don't forget. Peace.